Hey, how's everybody going? It's Rich the Architect, and today I'm going to start. This is going to be my first series of I don't know how many videos, but I decided I'm going to start doing some series of videos related to a game I enjoy playing in my free time called City Skylines. So it's a city simulation game similar to like a Sim City and whatnot. For anybody who's not familiar with it, where you're doing, pretty much building a city, creating residential zones, commercial zones, industrial zones, and building roads and highways and all kinds of different things. So I will I'm just show you a little bit about this city I started creating here, and kind of go into all the different things related to it, and then we'll touch on some of the industrial stuff and growing that. So this is my city called Cliff's Edge because I started the city over here and it was along the cliff, so I called it Cliff's Edge. Got three residential zones going now. So I have a kind of a lower density residential here. Let me zoom in with like a kind of commercial, like Main Street area here. All the houses. There's a park here. Different schools and whatnot there. As I started it, this is kind of the area where I started. There's industrial area here as well, so different kind of like common goods, different areas. So if you just click on, no, you're not going to be able to click on here. I have to get out of this camera view, but yeah. So there's industrial areas here. I have more of a higher density residential, so almost like a city. So if I kind of zoom in, you can see more like kind of high rises, mid rises, and there's actually different like some commercial areas, some office towers down here. There's even like here's actually a good example. There's also different types of public transportation. So I have a tram line that runs here. Here's a bus, and if I go into went a little bit too far. Let's see. There is a subway stop somewhere down here. Here it is. There's a subway. There's subway stops with obviously tunnels and whatnot. Here, I'll zoom in a little bit. You can see all the different people making their way, and I thought that was a horse. No, somebody's riding their bikes. You can see here's a playground. There's all different types of parks you can put into the game. So simply put, you give those main three different types of zones: industry or industrial, residential, commercial, and the city grows from there. And then there's a lot of different specialty buildings you put in. So, the public transit. I mentioned a couple of those. There's actually train stations here as well, with train lines. So I have a train station here. There's actually a cargo station for the industry, and I have another train station right here. And then maybe, I think I'll show a little bit of stuff with the industrial, but maybe one of the things we'll do is in this video I'll create a road with another train station that connects this area over to the rest of the city. I just created, this is a new kind of low density residential here with a little bit of commercial, and then a new industrial area over here. One thing I really like about this game too is there's some add-ons. They're called DLCs. One of the add-ons I have is for industries, so that you can have specialized industries. So I have it's a agriculture farm. So I have a farm here. There's a forestry industry, so I have a forestry area up here. I just started an oil one that's on this island and along the shore. And then there's also another one which is mining, which you can kind of identify here with this kind of discolored, this kind of darker type ground. And there's other ways to kind of figure out, but there's 4 main industries there. There's actually a new DLC called Sunset Harbor, which has a whole fishing industry, but I do not have that yet. And then overall wise too is you have a certain limited area that you have when you start the game. So I have 5 different areas right now that I'm building on. So there's 2 here, and there's 2 here, and then the last one is down here in the corner. and eventually, usually when you first start, is you have a highway connection. So here's your highway coming in, and I've extended the highway. I've got a tunnel under here, and it actually ends right here, but I eventually want to, like I did with the train line, is bring the highway over here. I'm either going to do it here, or I may make a loop and kind of go up and around, and kind of connect over in this area at some point. I'm not too sure yet, because this is a really high bridge. Like, it was almost too high. This reached the limits of how high you can make the bridge. So I'll decide that at some point. But the train, there was a train line here that I then connected to, and similar to the highway. The highway came in here, but I only could start like roughly in this area to build it. And then what happens is, over time, you make money and you can build further and further out. So here's the main highway line connection, and like I said, there was the train line connection over here. And if I rotate this the whole way, if I can get down there, the train line kind of turns, and I'm horrible. There we go. Kind of goes over into the area, and then that could be possible. I think that's the ocean, but you're kind of limited as how whatever you bought is as far as you can go. So it looks like I might be limited to there, but hopefully that's a ocean connection, because there's like ships and ports and different things like that. Like there's tourist stuff that you can do. I mean, it's a really deep game. So I'm not going to try to go into all of it, but I am going to escape out of this, so I have the gameplay now. So you can see there's a dash line right here. So this kind of tells you the extent of what I have. So let me actually go to the areas. So like I said, I have 5 of the Initially, you're given 9 blocks that you can purchase, and as you get certain population milestones, which I'll click on here, you then unlock more and more areas. So once I get to a population of 26,000, I'll have a new area available for me to purchase, and then as you go, more of them become available. But then the last one, I actually have a mod on this game, where I'll get 25 more blocks, so I can go even further out. So that's all of that. Like I said, there's all kinds of different things. Just kind of zooming in a little bit. Like, here's a city park. There's amusement parks I can make. There's a zoo, airports, the different industries. Like I said, the park is actually another DLC that I have called Park Life, which you can create. Let's see here. We have city parks, amusement parks, zoo, and nature reserve. So you can make a nature park. So I'm not sure where to put. I would put all of those right now, but yeah, there's different things like that. Under healthcare, you have hospitals, medical centers, cemeteries, spas, gyms, all kinds of different things you can do there. You have your fire stations, fire headquarters. There's even for fire helicopter and firefighting, so fire watch towers out in like the wooded areas. For police, again, police stations, police headquarters. What do we have? Prisons, and what's this one? Oh, police helicopters. With education, you create elementary schools, high schools, universities. There's actually another DLC that's I think it's called like City Skylines Universities, so it's an add-on for this game. Another one, I have 2 other ones. One's green cities, so there's like sustainable design stuff. So if I go under like electricity, you may have like different options for different green energies that you can put in there. Same thing for water. So like, for example, this is like an eco water outlet, or different things handling flooding in reservoirs for that. And then there's a mass transit one, which gives you a whole bunch of different things. So you have buses, trams, subways. The buses and subways are kind of your base, so is the trains, but a number of these other ones, like let's say like the monorail system, is an add-on. Don't know if cable cars are. I do know that the post office is, so mail, and some of these hubs, so you have like a big train station with like 12 platforms that you can have kind of like a center city hub. You can see it's kind of pretty big too. So there's different connections. Used to not be at the base game, you couldn't connect from like a monorail to a train, or in this case is a monorail to a bus, or so here we go, metro, monorail, and train. So the subway, the monorail, and the train can have a hub all together. So we can get into some of that stuff at some point, yeah, so this is City Skylines. So real quick, now my dog's barking upstairs. You'll see different things like little warnings like this. So this one is saying there's not enough educated workers. This is a commercial building, so this ties into you educating your population. So for example, it says not enough educated workers, so they're looking for a person who's highly educated. So highly educated would be somebody from the university. So if we can't find anybody, I think the solution here is to eventually build a university down in this area. Because if I click on education, go to university, I only have about 4,000 students that are eligible, and I have a capacity of 4,500, but I only have one university up here, and the coverage area of that university is in the green roads. So this area doesn't have, the residents don't necessarily, I mean they can travel using mass transit, but there isn't any area local here. So to try to solve that, solution is build a university down here, and over time you'll have more graduated residents. So let me actually click on one of these. So you can see here, and this is a house, and this shows you how many are highly educated, well-educated. Uneducated is no schooling. Educated is elementary school. Graduated, well-educated is high school. Highly educated is university. So I clicked on this one because I'm in the education, so this will tell you the more educated households by color. But I'm sure if I click on the red here, yeah, I don't have any highly educated. I basically have elementary educated people living in that house with one person that graduated from high school. So you can definitely see, there's not enough people here to support these businesses in terms of workers. So that's commercial, but the other thing though is like generally industrial caters more towards the lower educated. So you can see here, it actually is saying 13 overeducated workers out of 16. So they don't even, they're looking, this company's only looking for uneducated workers. Higher or overeducated workers will go there, but it's still, it doesn't hurt them, but that's kind of like, you want to try to get the usually what you want to do is try to do like industry, the residential. You don't want residential next to it because there's a pollution issue. I'll show you that real quick. So the industry pollutes. You don't want to have, if the residential zones were in any of these polluted areas, you would start having your residents would end up getting sick. So you kind of want to have a buffer. So normally, I have a string of commercial. Commercial doesn't care about the pollution as much. So you want whatever residents you have nearby, you might want to have as not as educated. So you can see here, I do have some of, that's funny because these more highly educated area residents are like, I'm trying to keep away from the schools. But that's an elementary school. Let me click on high school. Okay, the high school is a little bit over here, so it's trying to limit that, but at the same time I have a park here. I kind of counterdicted it because the park here, people want to be around that a little bit more, so it's a better area. Yeah, it's well, you can see here, at least in the city, I may have a little bit less educated, so I'm trying to get the less educated people here and then keep the more educated people in other areas where they would want to work. Like, so for example, I have, if I zoom into the city part, this you have low density residential, high density, low and high density commercial, industry, and then office, which is essentially just industry for educated. So that's what I have a number of office buildings here in the city area, which then I'm trying to keep. These residents would be working in these offices, and then maybe some on the edges could go down to this industry, and like I said, some of these other over here could go into the industry as well. So it's a little bit of a balance of figuring out your education for your population. Now I have a new industry over here, and in terms of education in this new residential, I only have an elementary school right now, so I don't have a well-educated population here, but this is kind of my new neighborhood, which will build, this is the area I want to really build up. So real quick, I'll show you with the industry. I'll use the oil. So the oil one's a newer one. I do have, actually, you know what? Let me go over to the farm. I'll show you in the farm. So the farm has a number of different things. You have your areas of extracting from the land. So here you have your crop fields. I have fruit fields, with trees. And then you take those crops. They just basically call them crops for both. You can see here, crops for fruit and crops for crops. They will then take that food. I have barns and silos where it can be stored. But then you take those crops over to, so here's an animal pasture, not posture. So you take crops and they are made into animal products. So I have sheep fields and cow fields, and then you have, what is this? This is actually a different version of cattle shed. It makes more what they call animal products. And then I have a flour mill, right? Yeah, flour mill, which takes the crops and makes it into flour. Now, all of these, whether it's the crops, the animal products, or even the flour, can be exported to other industries in the city, or even outside of the city via highway, or I have a cargo hub right here. So trucks will come over here, drop off. Here, I'll pause for a second. You can see, there's a bunch of trucks dropping stuff off onto the train. Eventually the train will come in here and either pick up products or drop products off. Actually, there's just one that just is leaving, so that train filled. And these are passenger trains here. Yeah. So going back here, the other thing though is, besides just exporting to other industries is there are different factories that you can make. So in this case, I have a bakery. So the bakery uses animal products, crops, and flour, and then makes it into pastries. And then those are final products that then are either exported to the cargo train, or to the highway, to other towns, or to other areas in the commercial areas in the city. So this ends up being actually a higher product in terms of the money you can make than just a regular piece of crop or something. So so that's kind of the industry. And as you grow the industry areas, very similar. The forestry has trees, log yards, sawdust, right? Sawdust storage. So that's forest products. And then you have plants that make a biomass pellet plant that makes the forest products into paper. And then you have sawmills here that make the forest products into plain timber. And then very similar, I have over here a different factory what is this factory? Furniture factory, right? Yes, it takes plain timber, paper, makes it into furniture. So there's and then there's storage areas. So I have these animal products, flour, and a silo here that have the crops and store the crops, are the three ingredients that need to go here. So what I like to do is I have you know, whatever the product is, whether it's the crops and that. You can see here if I zoom in. It looks like there might be a truck leaving. Let's see. Yeah, so we have a truck here. Let me actually hit pause so I can click on it. Yeah, so I have a truck from the barn that's taking the crops. Actually, that one's exporting, so that's just going to drive to the highway and take it out to other towns. Oh, same as that. That one is too. Huh. I was hoping you'd have one that goes... Let's see. Okay, here we go. Here's one. So this is... Oh, that's returning. Huh. This one looks like this might be leaving and exporting. Nope. Okay, so this was one from the animal pastures, bringing animal products. It was either delivering it here to the storage or here to the bakery, and now it's returning. And let's see, this guy is full, so... Oh, okay, so this is the other thing. So I have a warehouse. So this is a freight truck from the warehouse yard. It's taking this animal products and it's actually driving it to Goods Unlimited. So you can see here, here's the path. It's taking it down the highway, driving it down here, and Goods Unlimited is somewhere in... Oh, wow. Goods Unlimited is way over here. So that truck is going to be delivering the animal product to Goods Unlimited. You know, so it's kind of a quick explanation of that. So yeah, so there's a lot of stuff here. So what I wanted to do is I'm going to build a train station down here. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to build a road from this residential area down near this train track, and then I'll have a it's kind of a main train. I want to keep kind of the main line, and I'm going to build a track off of it that'll go into the train station. So first thing I like to do with the roads is I like to do the terrain, kind of work with the topography. I like to kind of keep it just like, you know, being an architect. I want to try to keep this semi realistic. So I'm going to follow the terrain and basically just kind of follow this line down. So basically I'm going to go downhill from the road. So I'm just going to take a straight run. I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to turn it to this point. Go across, let's say... Let me turn off the snaps so I have a little bit more freedom. There we go. We will go, let's go there. And let me turn the snaps back on now. Actually, I might not be able to, no, yeah, because I have a school right there. So I'm just going to leave it like this for now. Let me build the train station. So I'll go to trains. Is this the train station? Yes, okay. So this needs to be roadside, so we will center it here. So now I got a train station. Not perfect, but let me make sure I have enough room. Oh yeah, I got plenty of room. Okay. Tell you what. We'll keep it like that. All right. Maybe what I'll do is afterwards I'll kind of clean it up a little bit. So I want to take a train track. Snaps. I want my snaps back on now. There we go. And let's go to... Nah, that's too far. And we'll go right from this node. Actually, I want to make it a little bit tighter. Tell you what, let's make it more circular or angled. Here we go. Yeah, using the snaps, I'll get a little bit more kind of what I want There we go. That's what I want. Alright, and then let's go to the other side. Straight. I'll go out. We'll go out one here. Because I don't want to go too far away. I want to try to keep a train's length on each side of the station itself. This one, let's just go one. Yeah, I will clean this up later. What? I don't want to get too close to that other. What we'll do is I'll go a little bit more of a curve. Yeah, we'll do it this way. And then I'll come off like this. Yeah. See if I can connect. Nope, won't let me. So we'll go a little bit closer. And then... Ugh. Yuck. Oh, it's going the wrong way. Let's go. It won't let me. Alright, tell you what. We're going to do this. And I have a nice little mod here. I was going to do this afterwards, but to clean this one up. Come on. I can just kind of adjust the angle of this just a little bit. If it'll let me. Come on. There we go. Oop, I don't like that either. Tell you what, we'll do that. Kind of even. Alright, well, I'll fine tune that later on. So, alright, let's click out of that. Alright, and let's see here. So I have the train station. Let me make. I have to do two things. I'm gonna have to bring supply water to it. So I like to play the game. I've seen other videos for City Skylines where a lot of people, you know, to be most economical, will run a grid with their water lines. I like to kind of keep it realistic, so basically keep it on the road. Usually that's how it really works. So I'm gonna actually hit go, and you'll see in a second that now there's water in the line, and it's supplying water to the train station. Now, I do need to provide electric to the building as well, so usually how the electric runs here is each building has its kind of like electric coverage. So you can see here, so here's like a water pump, right? So, and it's shown by this blue. But if you go further, then you have to add the power lines. So in this case, I need to have power lines to this train station. And we will, let's run it along here. We'll run it here. So you just basically have to connect it from kind of, let's call it blue area to blue area. So as long as it touches there, give it a second, and now we have a powered train station. Alright, so next thing, escape out of that. If I look on the train, is I have allow intercity trains. So this is an intercity train, which if I click on it, it'll say it's going, you know, transporting passengers to Lake Valley, which is a different city somewhere. There's only 2 passengers on the whole train. I want this train to actually, well, I want to allow it to do that, but I also want it to connect to the city trains, which, again, this, I think this red one, the red ones are, oh, that's an orange. Okay, so that's a city train. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add if I go to mass transit, in trains, is I want to add a stop. So I have 2 stops already. And I want to, how do I do this? Trying to, so I have to kind of scroll over here. I'm kind of holding down the mouse. Move stop. There we go. So now I have a stop here. Let's make sure I have a stop elsewhere. Oop. Let's make sure I didn't move a stop that. Oh yeah, I need to add one here. And I need another one on this side. There we go. Alright, so we got the two lines, and let me look real quick, make sure that I have everything created. The other thing is it might not be in order. So let's see. So we have, this is our new stop. Whoa, hold on. I don't think I have this correct. Oh, there we go. Okay, so moves to the middle one, moves to the city one, and then hopefully moves back to the middle one. Yep, okay, so we have everything going. So let me hit play. Go back here. Oop. Train. Here we go, 108. And we should start, yep, here we go. So we now have people in our train stations. Yep, this one is going over to, wow, 82 people. Here, let's speed this up. Let's see if they all, oh, that fell off. There's only 3 people in it now. Okay, I'll slow it down as it's getting closer. Oh no, they got all off. So actually, let's see. You should also see, if we zoom in, is usually when you have somebody drop off, you'll see a bunch of people kind of come out. Let's see if there's, nope, looks like we're just showing, well, there's some people coming over here. You know, some people are walking. It's quite the distance to walk right now. There's a couple parking spots, but so yeah, so that's kind of the trains in a bit of a nutshell. There's another one coming, so that you can see there's people going into the train, and as it leaves, actually I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. Kind of go like, there we go, Mr. Rogers' view. Nope, you can't see the, I was hoping to see the, just going to leave it at this. I'm going to end the video here in a second. Let's just wait for another, turn up the speed. You can see everybody's waiting, everybody's walking through, here we go. Slow it down, people are getting into the train, people are leaving. Yeah, so we don't have a ton of people coming out, but we do have a ton of people from here wanting to go to the city. You know, so oh, now we got a new one that just showed up out of nowhere. That does happen, and I think as more people go, they will spawn new trains. So yeah, so that's, we'll hit pause there for now, and yeah, I'm gonna clean up some of this other stuff, and yeah, so this is the city. Like I said, it's you know, right now I have 5 here. Actually, I can just show it here. I have 5 blocks right now, and I will, until I get to the last milestone, I'll have up to 8, and then the last one I'll get my 9th area, And actually, I'm probably pretty close. Well, I got about another 5,000 I have to get. So another 5,000, I'll hit my milestone. I'll be able to expand and buy another block, which I probably am going to buy this one here, so I can start the mining industry. And yeah, kind of expand this city slowly but surely. So I don't think I'm going to show every little step, but you know, kind of build something, show you something, you know, go from there. So please, you know, again, I'm going to start this and try to do a couple of these. You know, now we're like, you know, I'm recording this during the quarantine time with the coronavirus, so probably have a little bit extra time to do these now, but you know, try to do these on a consistent basis. Eventually I'll start a brand new city, but for now I figured it'd be best to kind of show a city already in progress, and you know, grow from there. So yeah, please like, subscribe, comment below, all that good stuff. And yeah, I'll see you back here again. This is Rich the Architect, and I'm signing off. We'll see you.